powered by Riverside FM.
Listen to me, UP Nation, Purple Gang, Skull Nation. The Minnesota Vikings need to go out and solidify a deal with Jakobi Meyers. Now, of course, you're not going to give up the farm for him, but you put together the most aggressive deal that you possibly can without setting this franchise back and hurting the franchise to go out and add a guy like Jakobi Meyers. And let me tell you why. He has proven last year in a lackluster offense that he can be productive. 1,000-yard receiver from 2024. Adding a guy like him to our pool of talented players on offense in terms of the skill position, oh my gosh, it makes the Minnesota Vikings one of the most dangerous offenses in the league. Think about it. You already got that devastating number one in the league. I know that's remained to be seen, but a lot of people that know a lot more stuff than we know has already said that this front seven is going to be top three in the league, if not number one in the league. So you're already going to have that stout defense. You need a wide receiver. And never could I have imagined that Jakobi Meyers would be available, but he went in and requested a trade from the Raiders. Now, it's just like the whole Adam Thielen thing. I told you a few days ago, the Carolina Panthers are going to jack up the price because they know that the Minnesota Vikings have need at wide receiver. They also know that the Minnesota Vikings are emotionally attached to Adam Thielen, right? So if you're a seller in a store, first rule of thumb in business is supply and demand. You understand that the Minnesota Vikings have need and are emotionally tied to Adam Thielen. That's the hang up with the whole deal. That's the hang up. The Carolina Panthers are trying to hold the Minnesota Vikings hostage for Adam Thielen. If I am the Minnesota Vikings, I still try to work that, but you're not going to hold me hostage because I've accumulated draft picks over the last 48 hours, man. A lot of draft picks. There are a lot of assets. And hey, I've been the one to say we don't need to be making trades and depleting our assets so much. But think about the comp picks that you have coming in for the 2026 season and what you're adding to this team. It can take our offense to the next level. Jakobi Meyers, we would not have had a triple threat tandem like this since Jake Reed, Randy Moss, Chris Carter. This takes our offense to the next level. It is a big get for the Minnesota Vikings if they can sign this dude, man. It takes our offense to the next level. And again, if the only question mark is going to be J.J. McCarthy and how well he's going to play this year, man, I'm cool with that. Because I know J.J. is not going to be terrible. He's not going to be Pat Mahomes either. I would love if he is, or Joe Burrow, but I think he's going to be somewhere in the middle, and I think he's going to have a great season for the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings, you gotta, Kwesi, let's cook. You've gotta try to pull this off. When you talk about scheme, if you add a guy like Jakobi Meyers, obviously you're going to go a lot of three wide receiver set type situations. How can you focus on the run game? Think about Jordan Mason. Think about Aaron Jones. That opens up a lot of stuff. And then you're looking at the middle of the field, TJ Hawkinson working that. Think about the scheme before we as Minnesota Viking fans dismiss that and say, okay, Adam Thielen is probably an easier get. And I will say Adam Thielen, total package-wise, is probably a perfect fit. And here's where I say this. And he's probably more of a fit than Jakobi Meyers, but only in this way. Like, I think you can have Adam Thielen for a couple of years, potentially. I think he has that much left in the tank. I think you can get a good 1 or 2 years out of him with the Minnesota Vikings, preferably 2 years. And I think that's going to be the route that Adam Thielen takes. I think he's going to retire if the deal gets done out. He's not going anywhere else after the Minnesota Vikings. I think he's a great story. He retires here as a Minnesota Viking, and it's going to be it. 2 years. Adam Thielen. Jakobi Meyers, on the other hand, I think he's looking for the bag. Matter of fact, I know he's looking for the bag. And I think if the Minnesota Vikings is going to bring any wide receiver back with the bag, it's going to be Jordan Addison if he can stay out of trouble until those contract negotiations start to come up. I already think there's going to be some question marks in that negotiation. But in terms of familiarity with the offense, in terms of production, I think Jordan Addison, if they bring in a top-level wide receiver in terms of paying him and putting that amount of money on the books, it's going to be Jordan Addison, right? Like, I don't see it being Jakobi Meyers. A little bit older, don't know how much he had left. He is super productive still right now, 1,000 yards last year. But I think Meyers would be a one-year rental because I think afterwards he's going to be looking to get paid, man. But a one-year rental, and here's the sell. Here's the sell that Kwesi and the boys can sell to him. Come in here and ball out, man. You're never going to be double-teamed. You know, you may not get as many catches as you got in Las Vegas, but you're going to be a part of a system that is going to be deadly, and you're going to be a part of a good team that's going to win that you're not going to get with the Los Angeles Raiders. How far can this offense go with top 3 defense in the league, possibly the number 1 defense in the league? Everything is set up for you to succeed. Why wouldn't you want to come to Minnesota? It is, when I saw that he was available yesterday, I got really excited because I know the level of production that this young man can give the Minnesota Vikings in this system. And it's transformative. It's transformative. And I don't use that word lightly. You put him in the mix at wide receiver in this Minnesota Vikings offense, adds another level of support to J.J. McCarthy, adds legitimate depth in case someone gets hurt. Jets has hamstring trouble. Jordan Addison gets hurt. We all know T.J. Hockenson has battled his injuries over the course of the year. Man, oh man, oh man. Minnesota Vikings, Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, get it done. This is transformative. Now, what that deal is going to be, again, got to be careful. Don't get me wrong. I'm not giving up the farm for Jakobi Meyers, but I'm telling you right now, if I am on the phone with the Las Vegas Raiders, I am going to be, if I'm Kwesi, I'm going to be as aggressive as possible. And if I'm the Minnesota Vikings, I'm not trying to play the game of, okay, you know, he has asked to be traded, so now we're going to do what the Carolina Panthers are doing to us, jack up the price, find a reasonable middle ground, Kwesi, and get this done. Jakobi Meyers to the Vikings would be box office, man. Oh, my God. It would be box office. This has been Unconventional Playbook, man. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Continue to help me pump out the content that I love to pump out. Purple Gang, Skull Nation, UP Nation, we need to get Jakobi Meyers on this football team. It is the best situation for the Minnesota Vikings going forward in terms of 2025 and how potent this offense can be. Get Jakobi Meyers. This has been Unconventional Playbook. I will always tell you at the end of each podcast, man, I will see you when I see you. Skull.